JSON.
JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's great for loading data into a web app. A JSON file is just a simple text file.
Take a look at characters.json from the folder Start Lesson 12. Because the first character is a square bracket, the JSON parser knows to interpret the remaining text as an array. If it started with a curly brace, then it will be read as an object. We'll see how that works in a minute. The aim is to load this file into your app so you can use it as a JavaScript array. The easiest way is to use the built-in method fetch. This returns something called a promise. The key feature of a promise is it works asynchronously. While it's busy doing its work, the main program can continue. It doesn't block progress. When you work with a promise, you add a then method. This will be called when the promise resolves, either successfully or unsuccessfully. In the case of a fetch, we get a response, the file that has been fetched. We can call the JSON method on this response, which is itself another promise. If this successfully passes the file into a JavaScript array or an object, then we get this value as a parameter and can create a callback function using the for-each method of an array to display each character in the console. Save, load Start Lesson 12 index.html using Live Server, and you'll see key characters from the King Arthur legend. The JSON syntax is not at all forgiving. To see what I mean, remove the last double quote from Guinevere. Now save and refresh your browser. You'll get an uncaught in-promise error. Syntax error, unexpected token in JSON. When using promises, it's usually best to add a catch block to the end of the then callbacks, like this. If you save and refresh now, it dies much more gracefully. If your JSON file is complicated, then tracing the error can be tricky, and a useful online tool is jasonlint.com. Copy the text from the file, paste it in, and press Validate JSON. If you get an error, the problem is usually on the next line after the highlighted red one. Adding a double quote back, pressing Validate JSON, and we're good to go. Don't forget to fix the characters.json file back in VSCode. I mentioned if the file starts with a curly brace, then the remainder is interpreted as an object. Take a look at planetinfo.json. This is more complex. To start with, it's an object. As such, it contains name-value pairs. Notice the name description, and then a colon, and then the value of this property.
Take a good look at how we loaded the characters.json file and see if you can load the planetinfo.json file and then display the description line in the console. Pause the video now and give it a try.
We can just copy the first fetch code block, replace characters with planetinfo, then replace the for each line with a simple console log statement. We log obj.description. Save and refresh to see the line printed to the console. Now we have a bunch of facts about the planets. Let's see if we can display the largest planet. We'll create a function to do this. That takes the planets array, which is the other property in the planets object. We'll replace the console log line in the then callback with a call to this new function, passing obj.planets, the planets property of the JSON object we've just loaded. If we look back at the planetinfo.json file, you'll see this is an array. Notice after the colon square brackets, so the planetinfo.json file is passed as an object with two properties. Remember, object properties are name-value pairs. The first name-value pair is description, which is a string value, but the second name-value pair is planets, and this is an array. Remember, square brackets, arrays, curly braces and objects defined as a series of name-value pairs. The name and the value are separated by a colon, and each name value pair is separated from the next using a comma. We have an array of planets and we'd like to find the largest planet. Each item in the array is an object. One property of this object is radius. We just need to find which object in the array has the largest radius property. We'll use the reduce method of an array. This reduces an array to a single value. It does this using a callback with two parameters. Parameter 1 is the accumulator value. This is initialized to the first item in the array. Then the second parameter will be the second item in the array for the first callback. If we check if acc.radius is greater than loc.radius, if it is, then we return acc. If not, we return loc. This callback will continue with acc set as the largest value so far and loc set as the third, fourth, up to the last item in the array. By returning the largest of the saved value and each item in the array, we find the largest planet in the array. Confused? This table should help your understanding. The first time we enter the callback method, acc is the first item in the array, Mercury, and loc the second item in the array, Venus. Looking at the radius values, we can see that for this pass, loc.radius, Venus's radius, is larger, so we store Venus. As we enter the second pass, acc is now Venus, and loc is the third item in the array, Earth. Earth is larger, so we store Earth as the acc, the accumulator value. Now we test Mars. This is smaller than Earth, so we keep Earth as the acc value. We move on to Jupiter, which is much bigger than Earth, so we now store Jupiter as the acc value. And as we iterate through Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, Jupiter is the largest, so Jupiter remains as the acc value. And we exit the method with the largest set to Jupiter. Save and refresh and you'll see that Jupiter is the largest planet. Nice!
Can you use a similar technique to display the smallest planet? You'll need to adapt the reduce method to save the planet with the smallest radius. Pause the video and give it a try.
How did that go? Just a case of copying the existing code and changing greater than for less than, and changing largest to smallest. Save and refresh and the answer is clearly Mercury. Nice work! That completes your introduction to JavaScript. A quick quiz, then you're ready to enter the world of web app development. I hope you enjoyed the course.